Hi, good morning. This is Dave Rosa from Flat Fee Tax Relief. Uh, Having a great time here in Clearwater, Florida, as you can see behind me. Nice sunny day. I have my coffee and have a sip. Join me. Today we're going to talk about the IRS and settling a tax debt. We'll start at the very beginning. In order to settle a tax debt with the IRS, you must owe a minimum of $10,000. Anything below that would be put into what's called currently not collectible status. You can be currently not collectible and owe more than $10,000, but if the IRS has deemed you to be currently not collectible, then the way to go is to go and submit an offer in compromise. Okay? All right. Now, you need to be eligible and qualified. You always see those terms. They're never explained. Well, eligible is you owe $10,000 or more. Qualified is your last 6 tax returns have been filed. Therefore, you are compliant with the tax code and you are eligible to settle your debt. Quite frankly, you can't do much of anything without filing your last 6 tax returns. Okay? You can't stop a levy on your own. You can't do much of anything, even enter into a payment plan. They're going to make you file those tax returns. We'll get into what happens when you don't file your tax returns in another conversation on a live stream, but we'll hold that off for another day. So back to settling a tax bill. All right. So you can do it yourself, okay? And here's the problems with doing it yourself. The IRS is going to encourage you to do it yourself, just like they say you can do your own tax returns. But if you have complicated tax returns, even complicated as far as having a mortgage, you can run into problems if you don't know what you're doing. Okay? So we always suggest get a experienced tax preparer, preferably a CPA. Okay? It's going to cost you a little bit more money, but you'll get your deductions that you're entitled to, and they'll be done correctly, and the IRS won't be coming down your neck later on in life, okay, in an audit. You don't want that. Okay. Now, so we have the tax returns covered, all right. Now, why would the IRS settle a tax debt, right? And a lot of people don't like people settling their tax debt because they feel, well, I paid my taxes, everybody should. I get that, all right? And we understand that. But sometimes, unfortunately, people run into problems, okay? They lose their job. They get ill. They get divorced, and that creates all kinds of problems, all right? Loss of income, all of these things. And sometimes people go into their 401k and don't understand the ramifications of doing that, or if they do, they roll the dice and hope that they can put the money back in. Usually they can't, all right? And then they have all these penalties for early withdrawal and so on, and they create a big mess, all right? But it can be wiped out in an offering compromise under the right circumstances. Okay? So those are some of the reasons why people get into a tax debt problem. Now, the IRS has several things, several reasons why they will settle the bill. One, they need to collect money. Even if it's $100, and we have settled many tax debts for as little as $100. but it goes into their win column. Okay? Their win column. They, boom, boom. Hey, we did a collection, Congress. We're doing good. Our percentages are up. And also they get to close a file. All right? And that may be more important than anything else. They get to close a file because they have an endless basket of files. All right? They have no they have no shortage of files. They always have tax debt to collect. And with the COVID last year, with so many people out of work, so many businesses going out of business, and so forth, they're going to have more debtors than they've ever had in the entire history of the IRS. Which is why President Biden is asking for $80 billion in additional funds for the IRS. Senator Elizabeth Warren is asking Congress to give the IRS 83,000 additional IRS agents. They're going to have so many debtors, they're not going to know, their head's going to spin. All right? So they're going to need to close files. So they're going to have an incentive to push through offer and compromise settlements. All right? That's what we feel. All right? That's not an official policy, but having been working in this field for a long time, that's what we think. All right? Or at least that's what I think. All right. So let me walk you through a scenario of a offer and compromise. If you call us up on the phone, I'm going to ask you things like, have you filed all of your tax returns? How much do you owe? All right, those are the two main ones. I want to know if you're compliant and do you owe more than 10,000? Okay, so a lot of people call up. They're filled with anxiety. Some people are crying on the phone. They don't know what to do. They're worried about going to jail. A lot of things. All right, they're worried about getting levied. They may call us because their paycheck or their bank account got hit. All right, and then we have to stop that and then proceed with their settlement. Okay, so after we get through that part and I can calm someone down and get into the question and answer period. These are kinds of questions I'm going to ask you. How much do you make per month gross income? All right, and we'll use $4,000 as an example. A single person, $4,000 gross. Okay, how much rent do you pay? Or how much is your mortgage? And if you have a mortgage, how much equity do you have in it? Can you access it? Okay, if you owe $10,000 and you have $30,000 of equity in your house and you can access it, IRS is not going to settle your bill. Now, if you can't access it because your credit is kind of on the negative side and you can't get a loan, that's a different story. Okay, you may have equity, but you can't access it. All right, so that's a consideration. Now, back to the income. So you have $4,000 of gross income per month. How much rent do you pay? $1,200 is the answer. Okay, I'm going to subtract $1,200 from $4,000. That leaves you with $2,800 in income, gross income. Okay, do you have a car payment? Well, yes, I do, says the taxpayer. All right, how much? $350. Great, that's within the allowable expenses. We're going to subtract that $350 from the $2,800. So that gives us how much? 28, 3, 25, 50, 2450. All right? So $24.50 left. Then you get a $200 car expense. That's for gasoline, upkeep of the car, insurance, whatever. They give you $200. So we're going to subtract $200 from the 2450. So that leaves us with 2250. All right. Now, you're a single person. Do you have any children living at home? No, I don't. Okay. All right. Then you get about $700 for food and clothing for a single person. I'm going to subtract that from your 2250. Now that leaves you with 1550, right? That's what you got left over. All right. How about utilities? How much is that? Well, I pay about $200 a month in utilities. Okay, we're going to subtract that out. Now you're down to about $1,100. All right. Do you have health insurance? Term life insurance? Are you paying child support? Alimony? A lot of things. And you just keep deducting. And what that tells me is you have no money left over to pay the IRS. The IRS must allow you a certain amount of money to pay what they call allowable expenses. We're not talking about credit card debt, all right? We're talking about living expenses. And they're pretty generous, quite frankly. So now you're in a position where you don't have any money left over, okay? You have enough to get by in life, but you don't have any extra money to throw at your tax debt. Well, what's the IRS to do with that? Okay? Well, they need that person to be put back into the system. All right? So they're willing to wipe the slate clean and settle that tax bill. Quite frankly, somebody that's in that situation is probably going to pay somewhere between $100 and $500 total to settle their bill. Now, a lot of people would say, gee, that's not fair. And I understand that thinking. However, the IRS needs to get that person right side up and make them into a contributing member of society. And quite frankly, so do you, if you have negative feelings toward settling a tax bill. All right? They're not settling it for billionaires and millionaires and so on. They're settling bills for people who are just getting by. All right? And it's a cost analysis basis. All right? We're looking at how much money do we have to throw at trying to collect from somebody who can't pay, as opposed to going after somebody who can pay. Isn't it better to get that person out of the system, right side up, have them feeling better about themselves, making more money, and then becoming another contributing member of society? Much better to do that. And that's why we have the Offer and Compromise program, okay? It's not a get out of jail free card. It's a let's get your life right side up card, all right? And let's get you back into the system and being a contributing member of society and not a drain on our resources, okay? That's the whole reason for it, okay? All right. So in that case, that person is a prime candidate to do an offer and compromise. Now, we cannot guarantee a result. The IRS doesn't allow that. As a third party, you can't guarantee what the IRS is going to do or not do. All right? So we're not going to do it. And in fact, somebody, if they call up and ask for a guarantee, I got to tell them, no, we can't. However, from experience, we can pretty much measure what we believe will fly and what won't fly. I'm not afraid to tell somebody an offer and compromise isn't for you. You shouldn't do it. Don't throw your money away. Keep it. All right? Maybe do an currently not collectible, or get into the smallest payment plan you can. All right? And then also check the statute of limitations. How much longer does the IRS have to collect the money? That's another consideration. So we're not afraid to tell somebody it's not the way for you to go. All right. Think about something else. Here's your options. But if you are a candidate for an offer in compromise, although we cannot guarantee the result, we have been successful enough times to know what is a good settlement offer and what isn't. And 96% of our clients have received a successful offer in compromise. The national average is 42%. The IRS has been getting about 80,000 settlement offers per year, and they accept about 42% of those successfully. Our company is at a rate of about 96% because we don't BS anybody. We tell them the truth, and we're pretty much right. Usually pretty close to all the time. All right? Okay. Now, the other factor involved in these things is the do-it-yourselfers. The people who maybe they don't, for various reasons, sometimes they just don't have any money to hire anybody. Now, our fees are very, very low. All we ask for is $250 up front, and then the rest of it on 10 monthly installments of $180 a month. We think that that's fair and reasonable. Okay? It's a total of $2,050, $250 down, 10 payments of $180, because it's going to take 11 to 12 months to do the job. Okay? From A to Z takes about that long. Now I'm going to explain why it takes that long. The first part of the process is we have to put together your offer and compromise package. All right? That means we have to ask you for documents. We have to get information from the IRS. You have to get them to us. We have to format it. We have to put it together so that it's going to be successful. Then we submit it. Now, the IRS only uses 2 locations. One is in Tennessee. One is in Long Island, New York. That's it. All right? So it's 40,000 in one place, 40,000 in the other. Now with the COVID thing, with so many more people, it's probably going to be more than that. But it's been averaging about 80,000. Now, what is their job in Tennessee and Long Island? Is it to look at the validity of your offer? No. It's to see if you did your paperwork correctly. Because if you made a mistake, they kick it back to you and say, sorry, Charlie, it's unprocessable. And they will not tell you why they kicked it back. Why did they reject it? Not going to tell you. Then you're going to start all over again. That's why the IRS likes people to do it themselves, right? They encourage people, hey, you can do it yourself. Go ahead. Here, go to our website. Look at the paperwork. You can do it. Then they get to keep that alive. And because you submitted your information, they know where you work, they know where your banking is, and they can levy you. Boom. Right? The idea is to do it right the first time. Not the second, not the third, not the fourth. Do it right the first time. Be done with it. Get that tax debt in your rear view mirror. Be done. All right? Now, after it gets through this process, which is about 5 months, by the way. So when we tell you it's going to take 10 to 12 months, it's not because we're not doing our job or we're not on top of things. It's because of the IRS process. Okay? I'm going to have another little sip of coffee here. Good. Now, the second part of the process is once you get past that point, it goes to what the IRS calls an examiner. Okay? An examiner is usually a lady, and they work from home. They don't go into the IRS office. They work from home. They will have a stack of IRS tax settlement offers on their desk, and they can work as slow or as fast as they want. So it's an individual basis. The only requirement they have is they get it completed within 2 years of submission. If they don't, then it's an automatic approval. So for the past quite a few years, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's been about 10 to 12 months. I know on some websites, they'll tell you, oh, it's 6 months. Yeah, it can be. If you're on Social Security, have no assets, it may fly within 6 months. It's a possibility. But usually I'm going to tell you 10 to 12 months. If it happens sooner, great. All right? We're ecstatic. But I just like to tell people, look, you're looking at 10 to 12 months. During that period of time, not to worry, lower your anxiety. The IRS will leave you alone. You can just go about your business, go to work, do your thing, enjoy your life. Let us do the work for you, okay? 10 to 12 months, you should be free and clear of that tax liability, all right? The only obligation you'll have is at tax time. Usually it's April 15th, but with COVID and all that stuff, they goofed around with the dates. But tax date time, you got to file your taxes on time. No extensions, all right? If you owe any money, you got to pay them. They don't want to settle your bill and then you all of a sudden create a new bill. You got to pay the new bill up front at that time, okay? You got to do that for 5 years. So you're kind of like on what I call tax probation. You got to be a good person tax-wise, okay? You got to be a good doobie for 5 years. And after 5 years, hey, you know something? You can do it all over again. All right, but for 5 years, you got to play it straight, okay? And no, don't do any crazy stuff like 9 exemptions or you're exempt from taxes and all this stuff and put you right back into the frying pan. Don't do that, okay? You get a new lease on life, accept it, put a smile on your face, and move on, all right? Okay. So I'm going to close this out for right now, okay? Because I gave you a lot of information. Once again, I'm Dave Rosa. I usually do all the consultations. Not 100%, but I do most of them. So you'll be speaking with me. This is Flat Fee Tax Relief. We are accredited with the Better Business Bureau, A+ rating. Look us up. Parent company is Flat Fee Tax Service. We're located in Clearwater, Florida, and also San Diego, which gives us a big advantage with the time zones. So we can cover the whole country, no matter what time zone you're in. And that's a big advantage with the IRS. Because if you're on the East Coast and you have a levy that needs to be released, we have 3 extra hours to get the IRS to get that release into your employer. Okay? It's a big advantage. I start working at 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't quit until I'll even pick up the phone at 7 or 8. Okay? But they're back in San Diego working until 5, 6 o'clock at night. That's a 3-hour difference if you're on the East Coast. All right? Or even Central. You got a couple of extra hours of our working for you. Okay? Big advantage. So I'm going to close it out. Flat Fee Tax Relief. I'll give you the phone number. It's 1-866-747-7435. Once again, that's 866-747-7435. Or you can visit our website, which has a lot of information. Okay? I'm a very active blogger. We have a blog on the website. Just about every question you have will be answered there if you're too shy to call. Okay? And that is flatfeetaxrelief.net. flatfeetaxrelief.net. Okay? Once again, 866-747-7435. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. Have a great day, and until tomorrow, okay, enjoy it. Enjoy your life, okay,